Let's talk about how you actually become a more productive and creative composer. Hi, this is Sam. And if you're new here, I just wanted to say this channel focuses on how to compose within a DAW, actually seeing it more like an instrument, how to get more creative and more effective. If that interests you, then why not subscribe and hit that bell button as well. Now, let's get started with today's video. I'm sure many of you are expecting me to create this new video on how to compose and how to, actually get in there in the DAW and create some great examples for you. And don't worry, those videos are on their way for sure. But I really wanted to talk about something else that a lot of people forget that is really, really important. And that is making sure that you are able to be more creative, that you actually are doing the practices that you need to do in order to show up on time, to be there every day, to get new ideas, to feel creative and uplifted. So let's talk more about that today. A lot of people have a lot of questions, and so do I. And this is absolutely great. We have a lot of free information like YouTube and other sources. And this is absolutely wonderful. But what many of us forget is that what we really lack is a consistent practice. And it isn't that difficult to do. Well, it could be difficult to actually do, but the idea of a practice, of a discipline, is not difficult. And that is the way you get the most answers to all your questions that you have about pretty much anything. Obviously, good YouTube videos and teachers and courses, they're really important. But all they're doing is sort of boosting your skills a little bit. They can maybe open up some ideas. And that is really valid and very important. But it is still true that if you work on your own and have a good discipline, all your answers will come to you with experience. And also, you will get the answers that you actually need. Because sometimes when we look at all these YouTube videos, we get a lot of ideas. Sometimes you get too much information. You might not think about that, but if you watch YouTube videos every day about how to do things, you might get a great creative spark, but you will get a lot of things that you're not ready for because you're not at that stage yet. It's not for you. So we get a subtle or not so subtle information overload. And this causes a lot of stress in our system. All this information every day we get from all the sources, and we don't process them. So our brains are full of all this information. And this is actually causing some serious health problems, all this information overload. So let's get back to discipline. What do I mean? It's very simple. The concept is very simple. All you have to do is to actually compose every day. And it's like, yeah, I knew that already. But are you doing that? Are you composing every day? For sure. And see, here's the trick. What you have to do is that you make sure you compose every day, that you set a time for composing every day. And if that is 5 minutes, so be it. Now, really try this out. Really listen to this one. If you actually compose every day for a short time, you will develop a skill. Now, most people say, okay, I'm going to compose every day. So they do that. And they do too much. They sit down and they spend hours in front of the computers, often of other things, like browsing plugins and sometimes watching videos and doing other Facebook activities. So discipline means you sit down every day for a minimal time. And I say start low, like 5 minutes, really. It might seem ridiculous, but just do that because the point is that you only do composition. You're not allowed to browse plugins, to look what instrument I'm going to use. You sitting down and you try to write music. And it might be that you don't manage to do anything for 5 minutes. You just sit there and it's like, okay, then you're done. The important is you sit down, you do nothing else. No Facebook, no browsing, no checking computer, no solving problems, just composing. I mean, if it's within a DAW, obviously you will have to use an instrument, but just load up a piano, okay? Don't worry about which instrument I'm going to use, what sound. Composing, 5 minutes. That is the discipline. Every day, every day. You might miss a day, that's fine, but then ask yourself, why did I miss that day? Well, I was super busy. For 5 minutes? Didn't you have 5 minutes sometime of the day? Really ask yourself. You do have 5 minutes every day. There is no excuse. I miss days too. I'm not saying that. It's the concept. Every day, 5 minutes at least. If it's more, no problem. But here's the thing. If you do too much, if you start to do a lot of things that you don't like, maybe browsing a bunch of stuff, you're getting distracted and, fixing your computer or whatever, then it's not fun anymore. It isn't. And you notice that by next day not going back to your practice. So if you sat there for an hour and you are not ready, your composing muscle is not ready for an hour, it's going to be like, I don't want to go back. Think of your discipline as any other discipline. You're going to the gym, you just do that. Maybe you go there for half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever it is that you can handle at this stage. If you're a pro, you can handle much more, obviously. So just do that every day. Just do what you can handle and then naturally expand as it feels right. Discipline, super, super important. Your key to becoming a composer. It's great to watch YouTube videos. I have done so and I've learned a lot. But it's not how you become a composer. Okay? It's discipline. Let's talk about another thing that is very important. And that is, are you taking care of your health? Now, you probably heard that all over and over. Yeah, I should eat right and exercise, blah, 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 and all that. Yeah. The reason you might not think about this is because you haven't gone deep enough yet, and you haven't thought about how important it is to do this right, and how it absolutely affects your creativity, your inspiration, everything. It's key. Now, if you often feel down on energy, low, maybe even depressed, it is almost certain that it's a health problem that you haven't thought about. So look at these different categories. Sleep, such a simple one. It's like, yeah, whatever. Well, how much do you sleep each night? Do you get enough sleep? Do you get too much sleep? Because that is not so good either. Do you go to bed at the same time? Do you get up at the same time? Now, it might sound rigid. Some days we change those hours when you sleep in. No problem. But do you have a consistent day rhythm? Because if you don't, you are jet lagged. You really are. Your brain is not at its full potential. If you have, this day I went up at 12 and the other one at 6, and you keep changing back and forth, you are consistently jet lagged. And it will absolutely affect your creativity, your inspiration, and how you compose. You just will have less ideas. You will be fatigued. Sleeping is key. Get it right. Check out how long you sleep and check out your sleep schedule. Now, you might say, well, I'm young, I'm 20 or whatever, and I have lots of energy and it doesn't matter. That might be true. When you're young, you can do more things. You have more energy. But why not start this practice now? You will do even better, even if you were young. And then you have developed a sense and awareness that will guide you and support you when you're older, and when you're 50, when you're 80 or older, and you still want to do this and still want to have fun. So look at sleeping. Food. Food. Well, it's very complex food. So I'm not going to tell you to eat right or anything. It just doesn't work that way. What I'm telling you, though, is to start to have an awareness about what you eat and how does it affect you. Because food is highly individual. Now, there's a lot of good advice there that says, do this, eat that, blah, blah, blah. And that might be true. But here's my challenge. If you find an idea that might seem okay to you, try it. But don't just say, oh, this is my new idea, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. Check it out if it works. Try it for a week or a month. Sometimes these things take, 3 to 4 months before you really notice the difference. So check them out, but also be open to the fact that it might not work for you. It doesn't matter that thousands of other people have done it. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. We are individuals. I can take myself as an example. I have been a vegetarian most of my life in all kinds of different ways. And I recently discovered that I need to eat meat now and then. So what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that you should eat meat. It doesn't mean that meat is the best. It doesn't mean that meat is the worst. It doesn't mean that vegetarianism is not a good idea. That you have to find out yourself. What I'm saying is, I was so stuck about vegetarianism. I cannot eat meat. There could be some good reasons behind that. But I was very stuck in that, so I wasn't open to what my body needed. And I started to try meat because I had some stomach problems. And you know what? It changed. My energy levels, everything, I felt better. Now, obviously, good quality stuff. So that's just an example that you might limit yourself because you have an ideology, a belief system. I couldn't do that. That can be anything. So just don't close yourself. Be open to check your body, right? And a good practice to do that right is to have a food journal. And it seems like a pain in the ass to do, but really it makes a difference because only you know what is good for you. So what you do is that you just write down every day what you eat and how you feel. Directly after, what's your energy level? Does it hurt? Do you get swollen? Do you notice it at all? And also, how do you feel maybe later in the day? That is key and it'll help you so much because a specialist can never know how you feel, all the symptoms you have. You can only go to specialist that might be really good and might be very helpful and tell them, I have these symptoms, blah, 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 blah. And they can sort of, it could be this, right? So I'm not saying don't use specialists, but they are expensive and normally they are used when you have chronic problems. So if you have chronic problems, you should obviously seek medical help. But this food list is so important. Really try it. Really check your body. What does work for you? What does not work for you? Exercise. Or I could say, do you breathe enough? Do you breathe deeply every day? Do you move your body? Does your heart rate go up every day? Now, this does not have to be a huge deal. But composers, I'm speaking for myself, we sit on our ass all day. And that is a killer. It really is a killer. If you don't sit well or just sitting down, we're not meant to do that. So you have to take breaks. I've talked before in another video about an app that gives you breaks. And I love that, but it might not be for you. So however you do it, remind yourself to take breaks. And especially if you work more than, I would say, 45 minutes or an hour. Or some people are really good at this, they do 1.5 hours. But you should really take breaks at specific intervals. It really, really makes a difference. And I know it's different. Like, I don't want to take a break. I'm in the middle of something. Go out, clear your brain. It's so important for your mental health and also for your body to move a bit. Just 5 minutes. Take a walk around your apartment or better, go out. I actually have a dog just for that reason. I seriously got a dog just because I thought it will force me out of my house. I got it for other reasons too. But it's great. I get out and I focus on a happy being instead of my miserable brain all the time. So get out. And then in terms of exercise, yeah, you need to move. And it doesn't have to be that much. You may walk more often, bike more often. There are tons of these small apps that really has a simple routine that, it's something, they give you some idea. And if you don't have gear and you're at home, these apps really work. And some of them are just 7 minutes. And some people say, oh, that's not enough. It's better than nothing. Okay. And you start with something and then you expand when you feel better. If you start to move a lot, you actually get addicted to it because it feels so good. The first 2 weeks might be a pain, but then it's like, oh, this feels great. I want to do this again, right? So then you expand. And if you feel like, oh, I really want to do this, I love this, well, get a bench and a few weights. You don't need more than that. You can actually do without, but if you're more serious, a bench and a few weights is all you need. I guarantee it. You can do a whole full body workout that way. Or take up a sport. Go swimming, find a friend, especially when the corona is over. Find a friend and do a fun activity together. Then you also meet more people. It's really, really, really important, especially for us composers to sit down. And another tip that is very, 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 very important that we often forget is that we need to find a way to ground our bodies, to slow down. Now, there are many ways to do this. Sleep is supposed to be that, but in today's, crazy stressed environment and all the information we have, we need to find other ways. Here are a few ways you can think of. Now, for example, some people do Tai Chi or yoga because it sort of combines strength training and this sort of slowing down. That's excellent. I've done Tai Chi myself for a while. But what I do myself is meditation. And there are many ways to do that. And there are also great apps that can help you. But the whole point of meditation is just to sit or even lie down if you can do that and just take it easy for a moment. I myself do meditation to clear my mind and to get the chatter out of my mind. I actually get more ideas that way and I just don't worry all the time what I should do. You could, I don't know, cook. You could build something. You can have a real deep conversation with a good friend. There are all kinds of things you can do. What I say, it has to be practice that slows you down. So if you talk to your friend and you feel more energetic, which is great too, then maybe that's not what you need. I say a good indication that you're slowing down and that you're in your body is that you're able to do this activity very slowly. So maybe perhaps you enjoy building Lego. Can you do Lego in such a slow way that your heartbeat goes down? You feel each piece, I'm not going to go into the whole meditation state now, but I'm just trying to show you that slowing down is very, very important. Don't underestimate this. Now, so you can say, is this really important for all this? I just want to compose. I just want to learn all this structure. Yes, it is. Don't underestimate this. This absolutely affects all you're doing. And in these hard times of Corona, when everybody sits at home and we're being depressed and we can't see people, it's more than ever. It's important to take care of yourself in all these ways. So really pay attention. I absolutely guarantee you that it affects your creativity, your moods, your energy, your resistance or endurance rather, to sit and compose for longer, to come up with new ideas. To move your body is really great key to get more rhythmical ideas. So this is absolutely super, super important. How many times have I said that now? Actually, I just discovered recently this Wim Hof method myself. I'm sure you've heard about it. This one, there's a lot of things, but the main thing that people know about is the cold showers and the holding your breath. And I highly recommend it. Now, it's not for everybody. And if you try it out, be careful, okay? Take it easy. But personally, it's just absolutely amazing. It gives me such a kick in the morning. It's not the only thing that I do. I do many things, but this just cream on the cake, the extra kick that I need. And it really, really have changed my day. So I highly recommend it if you're into that stuff. One thing that I also really want to mention that really makes a difference is to be a little bit anal about this. I mean, start to plan your composition. A lot of people say like, oh, well, I wait for creativity. Don't do that. Creativity is a kind of a magical word that we all use. Like, oh, I have this creativity. Just forget about creativity. Really. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it's coming or not. All you need to do is to have that discipline I talked about and schedule your times when you compose. You say, it's not a natural, I don't have time to it. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to schedule time. Because if you don't put time to what matters to you the most, you won't do it. Now, if you're like me, you have maybe other jobs. Well, I have mostly composing jobs, but before I had other jobs, I have a family, I have all these responsibilities, I have things to do, I have to take care of all kinds of stuff, I have to take care of the house. If I don't plan composition time, I won't do it. You have to plan it in. And even if you have lots of time during the day, you have to plan it because that gets you focused. So pick a time, in the morning or any time that suits you. I, for example, do it in the morning because less people bother me. And I like the feeling that I've done what matters the most to me before the rest of the day. So I do it in the time. And even if it's 5 minutes, I book that in and say, this is where I'm going to compose. Okay. And if you get good at this, eventually you can, instead of booking specific times, you can book blocks of time. Now, this is a little bit more advanced. The concept is easy, but it is more advanced to do, because if you're more flexible with your time, with your blocks, then you can change your day around. Something else happen, right? But it's very important that you still, okay, I can't do it at 8 today, but I'll do it at 6 in the evening or afternoon, whatever you say, right? And you can't say, I'll do it whenever you have time. No, if you swap your time blocks, you have to set a new time and stick to it. Very, very important. That makes you a little bit more flexible. So take this discipline, find a minimum time, block that every day in your calendar. Or you have, at least as you know, set a reminder or whatever. And that is your sacred composition time. And people might hate that in the beginning. Oh, you're going to compose things. Especially family can have sometimes issues with this. But if you're committed and you show that I'm doing this is sacred to me, and I have time for my other commitments, people will eventually respect that you are not available for anything else at that time. You turn off your phones, everything, just composition time. Even if you just sit and stare at your screen for 5 minutes. Okay? I wanted to add this thing about being a morning or evening person. So you might say, oh, I'm an evening person, a morning person. And that is absolutely fine. You don't not have to change. I'm not saying that you should. But think about this. You are not born a morning or evening person. You're not. I'm sorry, it's not true. You are used to doing things a certain way. You've done maybe mornings or evenings for so long that that's how you do it. That's how you roll. Fine, continue doing that. I'm not saying you should change. I'm saying think about, maybe it turns out that you get more done, you're more effective, you're more free, or all kinds of reasons in the morning, or vice versa. Just think about that. Look at your day. When it's the best for me. And why not actually do the time that works the best for you in terms of the whole schedule thing and all kinds of stuff? You'll find out when you do this. You'll know what I mean. Now, if you're an evening person and it turns out mornings are better for you, change. Try it. And it will be tough for 2 weeks. Like, oh, I have to get up. All that stuff. Do it anyway. And after a few weeks, 2 weeks, it shouldn't take more than that, maybe less. You will feel fine. You're used to it. Don't just be like victim to circumstance. Just feel like I am in control. I can do this. Of course, we can't control all of our lives. That's impossible. It's just silly. I can do everything. No, but you can be more aware of everything. You can think about your health. You can notice how it feels. You can notice what works best for you. You can notice your patterns. You can start to write lists of things. It doesn't have to take that long. And when you have a little bit more awareness, you have more options. There's thousands of things, billions of things you cannot control, you will never do, but why not have a little bit more control? So you're not just a victim to circumstance. Life is full of good times, bad times, good times, bad times, good times, bad times. That's how it is. It's just good times, bad. It's never going to be one day when everything's perfect, okay? So if you have an awareness practice in general of all you do, then bad times won't be the end of all, and it won't control you so much. And good times won't be the only good thing that you're waiting for. It's just another part of life. You're not chasing states of creativity. You have a discipline. You can compose no matter what creative state you're in. You're productive. And that's how it works. Don't wait for creativity. Go at it. Okay? Yeah, I've babbled enough. I'm sure that's a lot to take in. So just maybe watch the video again if you find it interesting, and maybe you will see something or hear something that you didn't think about before. Take it slowly in steps, Apply to you what works for you. Don't just take my words. Try what makes sense. And if it's all garbage for you in 2 weeks, stop doing it. Okay? We'll try it for a month and doesn't work for me. I know something better. Then do that. Okay? So I'm sure some of you are a little disappointed I didn't have sort of a specific composing video today, but they are coming. Trust me. I just think that this is so important. So don't skip it. Okay? So more videos are coming. And if you like this video, then why not hit that like button? It will help me out a lot. And if you want more composing videos, then why not subscribe? And yes, I would really love to hear how you deal with this. So what do you do? So write in the comments if you have any good advice, or if you have any questions, or if you want to show everybody else how you deal with all this stuff. Okay? This is Sam signing out. I hope you have a lovely day or evening. Take care.